Bombadil, Tom Bombadil, oh, by water, wood, and hill, by the reed and willow, by fire, sun, and moon, hearken now and hear us. Come, Tom Bombadil, for our need is near us.
I hope you enjoyed that. That's the last time you're going to hear it for a long time.
Possibly ever.
Possibly ever. Yeah, he might not ever come back. He might die.
Tom Bombadil. Oh. It's talking about Tolkien, Ben.
It's talking about Tolkien.
It's the final in the Tom Bombadil trilogy, Fog on the Barrow-downs. And what do you think of this chapter? It was just about a bunch of fog, and then they walked on the west side, and they just passed by the Barrow-downs, and nothing happened.
Yeah, it's
very weird chapter. How
chapter 8 for those who are keeping up. I don't know when this episode actually comes out. I am very far behind on editing these, but it's a great Halloween episode.
Well, if it comes out too much later, wow, did you see who won that election? Oh my god. All right.
I wish I could stay at Tom Bombadil's house in the middle of the woods with the haunted tree. Based on the results of that election.
Am I right, fellow kids?
The world is ending and we're all doomed. Just like Frodo.
Yeah. Oh my god, what was that? A newer print with Elijah Wood on the cover?
This is the first Lord of the Rings book I ever read.
Oh my god.
This is my original paperback. What? This is from 2001.
What
New Line Cinema.
I thought you were some weird Tolkien lover or something, and that's your first book?
Dude, I was, 13?
Yeah.
When the movies came out?
I guess not all of us have access to their dad's copy from when he was in high school or whatever. So
yeah, no, I did not.
It's unfortunate.
I do actually have older versions now. I have many copies of this book, but this is the original that I read.
All right. So, Frodo dreams of a sweet song in a rolling green country, Ben. Does this signify anything, or should we just go to the next part?
It signifies that they stole that line everybody loves that Gandalf says to Pippin in the movies. When Pippin thinks he's going to die, and Gandalf's like... Pippin goes, what? I never thought this would be the end. And Gandalf says something really pretty, but it's kind of weird because Gandalf can't actually know what's going to happen to Pippin when he dies because Pippin is of the fate of men and he will leave the circles of the world. So what happened to Gandalf when Gandalf died is not what's going to happen to Pippin when Pippin died. But the line goes something like this.
Does Gandalf know what happens to men?
No.
Oh my god.
None of the Valar do.
Oh my god. Do any of the Maiar?
No, certainly not.
Oh my god.
The only one who might have a clue is Manwë, who talks to God all the time, and maybe Mandos, who is kind of the Lord of the Dead. The souls of men might pass through his realm house thing on their way out, but no. So Frodo, this is the quote. Tell me if it sounds familiar, movie watchers. Frodo heard a sweet singing running in his mind, a song that seemed to come like a pale light behind a gray curtain, and growing stronger to turn the veil all to glass and silver, until at last it was rolled back and a far green country opened before him under a swift sunrise.
Death is just another path, one that we all must take. The grey rain curtain of this world rolls back, and all turns to silver glass. And then you see it.
What? Gandalf? See what?
White shores. And beyond. A far green country. Under a swift sunrise.
Yeah, they borrowed that for that line they made up for Gandalf in the movie. And a lot of people really love it. I don't even
remember what line you're talking about.
Oh, the Pippins, they're in Gondor. Okay. And it looks like they're doomed. And Theoden is about to show up. And Pippin's like, He says something about regretting that this is the end, and Gandalf says, "No, death is not the end. The world peels back like a curtain and unveils a far green country under a swift sunrise." And Pippin's like, "Oh, well, that doesn't sound so bad." He's like, "No, it's pretty good."
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that the Dark Lord, when he's done murdering me and all my friends, that it will be okay after all.
You'll be lucky if he just murders you.
Yeah.
He tortured the elves into orcs. Well, that was Morgoth, but like this guy watched him. So
yeah. So, here's hoping. Okay, that sucks. So those orcs, they can't sail west, even though they were once elves.
Tolkien never. This is where I will remind you again that Tolkien never actually did decide on what the orcs were, and a lot of moral problems are why I think he struggled to decide what the orcs were.
In the end, he left it up to his heir, Peter Jackson, to decide what the orcs were.
Oh, God. I heard people got mad that orcs had families in the Rings of Power. I haven't seen it.
I would be mad too, because I want to be able to murder them indiscriminately. And
it's not 2032. I can't watch the Rings of Power yet. But if that's true and orcs have families, I would say that's 100% accurate to the Silmarillion depiction of orcs.
Damn.
They do have families. Well, I don't know if they love them, but
can they feel emotional pain? Can we hurt them? Okay.
I think they can. Right. Yeah.
So we just need to kidnap the orc families, hold them hostage, and they'll do our bidding.
We'll talk about the orc genocide at the end of Lord of the Rings.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
George R. R. Martin said, I wonder if it happened, and then no one answered him, so it didn't happen.
No, it definitely happened. It's in the appendix. They talk about it.
Dear.
Yeah.
Well, okay then. Anyway, Frodo
Tom
dreams
Bombadil.
of a rolling green country, a sweet song. And Tom Bombadil's like, "Hey there, ho there, get the fuck out of my house." And so they do. And then
that is kind of what happens.
They're walking and they're like, "Ah, shit, we didn't say goodbye to Goldberry."
They're not walking; they're riding ponies. I counted.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so Goldberry does see them off, and she's like, "I know you're thinking about going to those Barrow-downs. Don't go north. Just go straight north. Hit that path. You'll be fine. I'm sure you'll be fine. Just go straight north. Remember the whole passing on the west side. Don't pass on the east side. That'd be bad. Don't do that. West side. Remember, on the west side, you're heading north. The west is on the left. All right. Just remember that. You don't need a compass because you're heading north. Super easy. Anyway, I'm sure you'll be fine." So then they travel. They sure do travel. Up hills and then down hills and then up hills and then down hills and then up hills. And they see the road in the distance. And they're like, awesome. We'll be there in no time. But the hills are steeper and scarier. They're like the Advanced Darkness and SpongeBob, but with hills. So it might take us the whole rest of the day and probably into night to get to the road. Why don't we sit down next to this giant warning stone just jutting out of the ground? Let's sit on the east side, though. I'm feeling east side. Are you feeling east side? I'm feeling east side.
You know the cool thing about this standing stone? It's always cold. No matter how hot the sun gets, this is always cold.
Oh, God. Now you're going to tell me why Zach Baggins thinks that ghosts are cold and how you'd be able to pick them up on a thermometer.
Not in this episode.
Oh, okay. They sit down. I wrote here, hold on. They sat on the east side. Let me just go and scroll up. What side did Tom warn them to stay? Fuck! You idiots! He said the west side, not the east side. You fucked up. So they wake up and they're like, "Oh God, shit! Did we fall asleep?" And now the entire Barrow-downs is covered in a creepy, thick fog, and it's engulfing everything. and they're like, shit, we gotta get out of here. Let's piece the fuck out. Blindly charge in the direction we think the road is in. I'm sure we'll be fine. He finds 2 great standing stones that, spoiler alert, he didn't see before and he won't see again after. He runs between them, and his pony... See, his ponies are like, no, I'm out. Peace. Peace, dogs. And Frodo, he can't hear any of his companions. They didn't follow him across those standing stones. He's, where the hell are you guys? Now he starts hearing a voice crying for help, and he runs just directly into a wight.
That's not entirely true. It's creepier than that.
Well, yeah, but you have to read the book. He's climbing uphill both ways like our parents did to go to school, and it was pitch black, just like it was then. And then he runs into someone crying for help, and you want to add to it, you can add to it, you horror bullshitter.
I will add to it, because
Good.
Frodo's crying out, and he's like, where are you? Where are you? And then somebody's like, over here.
Back in.
And Frodo's like, Sam? Is that you?
Yes!
I am Sam. And then he goes to that voice, but actually for a second he's like, nah, it's not Sam. And he turns to go away, but then White grabs him.
And then Frodo awakens again, and he looks over, his companions are sleeping like the dead. They're dressed up in rags, they're about to be entombed here forever, and Frodo's first thought is like, well, they're dead. I'm gonna leave. Gandalf would agree there's nothing I could have done, but Frodo's courage grew 3 sizes that day then. Like,
that is kind of how it goes. It's described as every hobbit, no matter how they look, and I think Tolkien's actual words are, no matter his actual words are, there is a seed of courage hidden, often deeply, it is true, in the heart of the fattest and most timid hobbit.
Fatty Bulger, we're talking about you.
Waiting for some final and desperate danger to make it grow. Frodo was neither very fat nor very timid indeed, though he did not know it. But Bilbo and Gandalf had thought him the best hobbit in the Shire.
Keep in mind, Frodo's the one writing this.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, he is.
Didn't know it, but Frodo was kind of fucking awesome, all right? He was maybe the best hobbit there ever was, okay?
That does put a hell of a spin on it.
Gandalf kind of thought he was awesome, kind of thought maybe he should be one of the wizards, but I'm just throwing that out there. Thought that, maybe Frodo should have been the one defeating dragons. He would have slain Smaug all by himself. But alas, he wasn't old enough at the time. So we had to settle for Bilbo, who's all right, I guess. If you don't have a Frodo within 50 miles of you, you can settle for a Bilbo.
Frodo's the newer model. Better in every way.
So
after we take this stone home, we'll have air conditioning.
There you go. The hobbits are... Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention there's a big old sword across all 3 of them. There's a wight chanting. It starts as like a song, and then it's like an incantation. And then a hand comes over to Sam. Did I read that right?
Yeah, it's like well, I think it's an arm. I think something is reaching out. That's the implication.
Okay, so it's not just a floating arm.
No, it's not
attached to something.
It's not the hand from the Addams Family.
All right, so it's coming to Sam, and Frodo's like, well, he's not yet my lover, because that's still Merry. But you unhand that Sam. He draws his sword, and he slashes it, and he breaks it off at the wrist, but he also shatters his sword. Then he's like, oh my god, that's all the sword that I had.
Well, I think he found the sword too. I think he found it at his feet.
Well, oh, Tom Bombadil.
Frodo does remember the song. The thing is, like,
Everybody gets one.
how do you imagine Frodo? He's sitting there in this tomb.
Oh, Tom Bombadil.
Yeah. Yeah, Frodo, like, terrified, ready to die, is like, oh, Tom Bombadil,
Bombadillo.
by water, wooden hill, by the reed and willow. Yeah, I would love to. That needed to be in the movie. That should have been Elijah Wood's audition tape. If it was not.
Yeah, that does have some big Elijah Wood energy.
Elijah Wood owns a production company that makes horror movies.
There you go. So Tom, I was gonna say he busts in like the Kool-Aid Man.
Tom Bombadil is a merry fellow.
And then he just walks over to the White and banishes him like it's no big deal. And then he's like, all right, let's get your friends out of here. We need to get them in the sunlight. Let's go. You pick up that one. I'll get these two. Let's go. And they're like, Tom, if you could have banished them at any point, like, why didn't you do it before?
Not my business.
Yeah, shut up.
Not my monkeys, not my circus, man.
Yeah, no one sang a song to bring me here before.
You know how Tom Bombadil became the master of Tom Bombadil? You know how Tom Bombadil has the coolest life in the world? Tom Bombadil doesn't go looking for problems. There's a lot of problems in the world, Frodo. I could be solving a lot of things. I don't, because there's just always more problems underneath it, Frodo.
Frodo, you know how I said pass on the West? That was the West over there.
It's like, Frodo, you think when Sauron's gone, it's over? You think people aren't just going to start fighting again in like 100 years? It never ends, Frodo. That's why you peace out and live in the woods with your hot spirit wife.
Anyway, here's this treasure. I'm just going to put it out for anyone who wants it.
Everybody literally gets one. You get one thing.
Yeah. I'm going to take this trinket or whatever.
This is Halloween. This is trick or treat. He's leaving the bowl of treasure with a take one sign.
Same thing. I put that in my notes.
And you know what? Everyone did. Everyone who came across that hill only took one priceless artifact.
Yeah. So, what does he mean by the world being mended? He mentions that. The Whites are not going to come back until the world is mended or something.
So that, I believe, is a reference to the similar belief that Thorin expressed in The Hobbit.
Okay.
When the world is remade. So basically he's saying, when this world ends and all is made again, but better.
Yeah, that's right. Super Middle Earth. Fuck yeah.
So basically he's saying that guy's not coming back. He's saying it's you don't got to worry about that.
I forgot. Frodo thinks that he sees that hand is wriggling, so Tom just casually walks back in the tomb and stomps a mud hole in its ass and walks it dry before he seals the tomb forever. What is the Men of Carn Doom?
You want to wait till the end of the episode to get into that?
You can wait till the end of the episode to explain that. So Sam can't find his clothes, and Tom is like, yeah, you're not going to find those again. Now run naked through the meadow. I've got work to do. So they locate the ponies, and his pony, Fatty Lumpkin, helps. He's the wisest of all ponies. So the other ponies
like
listen
the wisest
to him.
of all ponies. Yeah, I gotta say, that is the worst name for a pony that may have ever been conceived. Like I honestly
Fatty
think
Lumpkin chose his own name, Ben.
Oh God,
he's the master of his own domain. Okay. No one gave Fatty that name. Fatty gave Fatty that name.
I'm going to throw this out there.
Himself.
I'm going to throw this out there. Fatty Lumpkin is worse than Tiber Adolphus. That's a Words About Books deep cut.
Oh, God. So, yeah. So, I did write down a quote. They had the appearance of long ill people waking up one day to suddenly be well again. And for some reason, I thought of Uncle Joe from Willy Wonka. I'm just going to throw that one out there.
Oh, they were faking it?
And he gives them all daggers. He takes a brooch for himself. He's like, I'll wear this thing. And yeah, this is where I
He
said he
says he's
leaves
going
the
to give it
rest
to
out like
Goldberry.
Halloween candy rules. You just take one. The swords
Yeah.
were designed to fight the Dark Lord and his minions, though the King of Angmar destroyed these particular men. And then Tom is like, I'm getting on Fatty, and we're all going to ride for the border together because there's not another Barrow-down, but somehow I feel like you'd run into one. Like, there's not another killer tree out there, but if I don't escort you off of my property, you're going to find one somehow. Like, what I'm trying to say is this is a trilogy. We're not doing a fourth chapter on my land. Get out. So he doesn't pass the borders of his land, and my question is, can he?
Can he defend the borders of his land?
Can he pass them?
Yeah, I think he can. Yeah.
So he could go to Bree if he wanted to, but he's like, not my problem.
Well, I assume he has been to Bree. That's how he knows everything about the bartender.
No, he knows everything about the bartender because he's Tom Bombadil.
No, I think he can. I think he's talking about the things he is master of. And I think, it goes back to that sort of monk-like detachment that Tom Bombadil has, is he has his place and it is enough for him. And if he starts going other places, traveling more widely, seeking out adventure and stuff like that, then he's not detached anymore. He's in it
Attached.
now. Yeah, literally. And by being attached, you wind up being susceptible to things like the ring. But I think it's also Tolkien pointing out that Tom can sit comfortably in his land and live his quiet life of singing and contemplation because Frodo is about to go through some serious shit.
3 chapters from now is called A Knife in the Dark.
The first of many.
Yeah, it doesn't go so well for him.
Frodo gets stabbed like not like a ton of times, but more times than most people survive.
And definitely more times than most people would like to be stabbed.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like once, okay, just to see what it feels like, but then like it just keeps happening.
Oh, this sucks. I know what
Yep.
it feels like now, and it sucks. Oh, God.
You don't want to do your first time with a poison blade. That's the other thing.
Oh, and it snapped off. I think it's inside me now. Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, Frodo, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take half of that blade and then wait 20 minutes. See how you feel. See if you want to shove the rest of it in. But yeah, he leaves them at Bree. He gave them wraith-killing swords. Well, wounding swords. So I assume you have some questions.
Yeah, I already asked them, so now you have to answer them.
Okay, so first you want to know... I mean, this is going to just lead to more questions, but you want to know who the men of Carn Dûm were?
Carn Dûm. Yeah.
Carn Dûm was the chief fortress of the realm of Angmar.
Oh, okay. So how... I thought these men were from the good kingdom that got destroyed by Angmar.
So the Barrow-downs, I was doing a little bit more reading, and I think I didn't realize how old the Barrow-downs were.
What, 20, maybe 30 years?
20, maybe 30 years. The Barrow-downs have been there since the First Age. They were made, I think, by humans, and a lot of different people were buried there. And then I think at some point, and Tolkien is non-specific on this, I think I remembered hearing a theory that the Barrow Wights were wights created by the Witch King. I think I might have been off on that, actually, because everything I read when I went to look it up for this episode tells me that there is no confirmed cause of what the Barrow Wights actually are.
Oh.
They're
You didn't
evil.
stab him with the Morgul blade?
I don't know. The Barrow
What did
Whites.
Peter Jackson say?
I don't give a shit. He didn't say anything about it. He cut it.
It doesn't exist. It's not canon anymore.
The Barrows came to be possessed by evil spirits, and the evil spirits are what are animating the dead bodies. Now, Tolkien is obviously taking inspiration here from the like Draugr of Norse myth. Draugr are basically zombies. The Norse did bury people in mounds, and they did entomb them with treasures and weapons and things like that. And there's several sagas. Why am I blanking on what the saga's name is? There's a saga where Tyrfing, a magical sword, comes into play. Is that the saga of the Volsungs?
Sure.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Probably should have looked that up.
Right?
Didn't think I was going to get into that today. But Draugr, there is a saga where a Draugr guards a magical sword. He knows where he's drawing inspiration from. I read that Tolkien was initially maybe thinking about making the Barrow Wights the same kind of creature as the Ring Wraiths, but I think he backed off on that. So
yeah, because they don't have rings, obviously. Can't be a ring wraith without a ring, then.
Well, there is something to that because the Ring Wraiths are wraiths because their natural life has been stretched so thin that they like almost don't exist anymore. They almost don't physically exist anymore. Whereas the Barrow Wights still have bodies. They're zombies. And the explanation here is that evil spirits possessed the bodies. Now, what we don't know is what evil spirit means. If you want to try to like unravel that, are they fallen Maiar? Are they the trapped souls of orcs, elves, men, hobbits? Who knows? But they're there. They're not supposed to be. And they weren't always there. The Barrows were just a burial place for a long time, but then at some point they came to be haunted.
Okay. By the Witch King of Angmar?
No, just by these evil spirits.
But he didn't cause the evil spirit.
I don't think he caused them directly, but I do think he might have been able to utilize them.
Okay, so he utilized them to haunt a part of land that no one is in anymore.
No one is in there right now.
Did he use them when the land had a kingdom to attack?
Yes. I don't know if he used... I don't think he used them like in mass. Like I don't think he led in a ghost army on anything. But I think they probably hassled the good people more than the bad people. That's for sure.
If Frodo put on the ring, would he see their true selves?
Probably, actually, yeah.
And then would he be able to like boop him on the nose and be like, "Stop it"?
That's a good question. Would wearing the ring give you the ability to punch a ghost?
I am the one. I have the one ring. I'm your god now.
It might give him the ability to command them. Honestly, it might. Now, to do that, though, he would have to not just use the ring, he'd have to fully claim ownership of the ring.
What could be wrong about that? You know, what are there any downsides to doing so? He's already worn the ring once. I mean, how bad could it be?
I mean, the ring has just been win after win for Sauron, so yeah. No, but he doesn't do that, so we'll never get that answer. It is possible that the One Ring could turn you into some kind of Danny Phantom-esque superhero capable of punching ghosts. You can't fly, but you might be able to punch them. And I think that's a valid thing. We can work that into our fan fiction. But yeah, do you remember what I said that this kingdom was called? The kingdom that was here. Are you even still on the call?
Yes. I missed what you said, though.
Do you remember what the kingdom that was called?
Are you talking about Angmar, or are you talking about the good kingdom
The
that
Good
got
Kingdom.
destroyed? It's not Iridor. That's where
Eriador.
they're at now, right?
Eriador, yes.
Iridor. Eardor.
This was the kingdom of Arnor.
Arnor. Okay.
Yes, the
Sister
sister
to Gondor.
Gondor. Yes. Descendant of
Stepsister
Numenor.
to Mordor.
No, it's not from Mordor.
No,
Numenor.
they're step siblings.
Numenor gets destroyed.
Yeah, that's Atlantis, right?
Yeah, that's Atlantis. And then Elendil and his people, Elendil and his people stay pious, basically. They decide
decide they're not going to try to fight God.
They decide they're not going to try to fight God.
Look, man, I'm not a super pious person, but I wouldn't pick that fight either. I'm thinking Team God's going to win that fight. I'm out.
But you got Sauron telling you he really believes in you.
What is he giving me that can kill a god?
Well, here, take this. This is a stick that kills gods.
Prove it. Stab yourself with it.
Well, I'm not God. It wouldn't work.
Oh, I guess you got me. I'm gonna go fight God now.
So yeah, Elendil flees. He founds Arnor. Isildur founds.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Gondor.
Wait, hold on. Is Isildur's dad Elendil? Because his dad dies in the battle of the Last Alliance. I figured his dad is the king, right? Before he dies, and then Isildur takes it?
Yeah, Isildur's dad is Elendil. Yeah.
Okay, so his dad founds one kingdom, and he finds another kingdom.
Yeah, I think he just, he's like in his early 120s. He's ready to break out on his own, found a kingdom.
Okay.
That's what you do. Yeah.
He purchased the settler unit, and he moved them down towards the south end of the map, and he clicked found a kingdom. And
yep.
Yeah. All right. That
checks out. They get along. They're cool. They get along.
Yeah, and when Isildur's dad dies, he'll inherit all that land, and he'll be a super king.
And I think one of the challenges, I don't know if it was a challenge. Tolkien doesn't really deal with this in any way other than linguistic exchange. There's already people living there.
Oh, okay. So Isildur just comes in and is like, I'm king
no, there's
now.
already people living in Arnor.
Okay, so Isildur's dad comes in and is like, I'm king now.
Yep.
This is my land. Because I am a superhuman, I can live up to, I don't know, like 300 years?
Well, and he has all the technology of Numenor.
Okay.
Which is very advanced.
I've got a shotgun, and I can live for 300 years. You've got some Bronze Age weapons. I'm king now. Anyone object?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a carrot and an implied stick for sure. I think he comes in and he's mostly like, hey, I can give you guys a lot of cool stuff. We got medicine, technology, all this stuff. And if you don't like it, we've got poison and technology, and we could visit a new kind of hell you never imagined on you. We were actually so powerful that some of my buddies actually thought they could kill God. Couldn't. Bad idea. They got further than most. To be fair, they didn't know God was going to... They didn't know God himself was going to show up. They thought they were fighting like the lowercase g gods. And they wouldn't have won that fight.
Oh, did they actually fight Iluvatar?
No, well, I mean, Iluvatar doesn't like show up in person, but like what happens is the Númenóreans start sailing west, and Manwë gets on the god line, And he's like, so should we kill the humans?
All of them? Just all of them.
Well, no, like basically the Numenorians. He's like, what do you want me to do about this? He's like, up till now we've only fought evil, and like any casualties on the good people side were like incidental. Should we kill them? Like, should we kill this fleet that's coming? Because like we can't just let them come. They're trying to kill the elves. And God's like, I got this. I can't believe they're doing this. And God just big old wave drowns their entire nation. They're sailing west, and then there's the ocean just turns over. God did
kill
not.
them? Nah, we'll let the environment do it.
Yep. God just flips the ocean on them and wipes Numenor off the face of the map.
And with it, their awesome Valyrian steel swords. We'll never see another one of those.
No, that's the interesting thing, actually. Frodo, I don't know if you caught it, and there's no way George R.R. Martin didn't catch this. And I don't know if Tolkien invented this. He didn't invent it because he talks about it. The knives Tom Bombadil gives them, they are damasked with red, I think.
Yeah, they're designed for fighting white.
Yeah, but they have that like the way Valyrian steel is described as having like those veins running through it.
Yeah, I have never read those books, Ben. So.
Oh well, it does.
I only have the inferior adaptation that went off the rails.
Have you ever seen Damascus steel, like a Damascus steel sword?
No. Why would I do that?
Google it for the people real quick.
I am a proud Roman citizen. Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely kill a white with that.
Yeah, so imagine that's red. Like those patterns are in like blended red. So yeah, they do kind of have Valyrian steel, and they do keep making it. So Elendil comes over, founds the kingdom of Arnor. That goes pretty well for a while, but then, as we all remember, Elendil, like you said, he's Isildur's father, and doesn't Isildur's father get killed by Sauron? Yeah.
Whoopsie
doodles. But good news for Isildur, because now he's got 2 kingdoms.
And as we know, he lives forever.
Yeah, he makes it he makes it 2 years into the Second Age before he's murdered by orcs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does not live very much longer. And unfortunately for him, his secession plan was set to partition, and he didn't have any direct heirs, so a bunch of like cousins and
no, actually
cousins.
he had 4 direct heirs.
Oh, and they split.
No, 3 of them also died with the orcs.
Oh, sweet. You solved the secession crisis.
Yep.
You just got 1 heir.
Yep. So the 4th guy, Valendil, takes over and becomes the High King of Arnor.
But not of Gondor. He kind of forgets that place exists.
Valendil, he does
leaves
not.
A guy named Denethor in charge.
He doesn't leave a guy
that
named
it's going to
Denethor.
go really well.
He does not claim Gondor, so the realms do split.
Is Denethor as crazy in the book?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Not at all. No.
I didn't remember that.
I don't even think he eats a tomato.
I think he needs to. I really need to hear all of the mouth sounds.
So Valendil, he claims Arnor. He doesn't claim Gondor. So things are not great in Arnor, because we lost our king. We lost our next king. And just a bunch of our people died in that battle against Sauron.
Whoops.
So it never really recovers, but it limps along for, Ch8's notes, 800 years.
I mean, that would be great, but it's not 1,000, you know?
That's more than America's getting.
Hey now, we could still last. How many 100 years have we been around? Like
200 some.
Yes. We could make it, you know?
Oh, okay. I love your optimism. So, but at this point, we're at High King Ariendor.
Okay, you're just making up names now. I don't believe that that's his name.
Ariandor. He has 3 sons who wind up dividing the realm into 3 kingdoms. Those guys are Arthedain, Cardolan, and Rhudaur.
I think I know which one that. Like, I don't know which son that he loved the most, but I can tell you which one he loved the least.
So, these people collectively are known as the Dunedain.
Okay, I know them. They become rangers.
They do, and they fight amongst themselves for a while, stupid, pointless civil wars. And then eventually, one guy manages to sort of start rebuilding things, but it goes okay for a little while. But then Angmar just wipes him out. I mean, they fight a bunch. There's a huge back and forth with Angmar. They win some battles, they lose some battles. They win some battles, they lose some battles. Angmar's on the defensive for quite a while, but it's always rebuilding back up because its leader is an immortal witch king. And I don't know what his army is made of. Tolkien's not specific. I
Whites
assume
from the Barrow-downs.
I think it's people. Maybe he has orcs. I don't know.
Well, is this before or after he becomes a creepy ring wraith man?
I think he's a creepy ringwraith man.
But does he have a lot of charisma? Like, can he command his people? Like, you know what he's saying is like horrible, but like he just makes you want to go across the border and start murdering Arnorians or however you call them.
Dunedain is what we call them.
Oh, okay. He's like, we need to build a wall around both of our lands and then expel the Dunedain through murder. Let's go get him, boys. And you're like, you know what? I don't know what his tax policy is because George R.R. Martin.
He doesn't make us pay
me.
taxes. He just makes us do mandatory military service, and most of us die.
Hey, sounds like a big win for the guy who doesn't want to pay taxes.
It's true. It's a platform. A lot of basically Arnor gets wiped out. It just constant wars eventually just drain it, and it's largely emptied and abandoned. And Tom Bombadil, he's been in these parts for the whole time, basically.
Tom's just like, God, they're murdering each other and turning each other into ghosts again.
Well, I think that's why he's sad. He even mentions like he knew the owner of the brooch he takes. As far as I know, that's not expanded on at all.
Just like Tom Bombadil himself.
Yeah.
I knew the owner of this brooch. Remember, I'm the first, as in the first thing to ever exist in this plane of existence. That includes the lowercase g gods. Anyway, I'm going to go back home. You need to get off my property.
So
Tom Bombadil, Tom's fucking off.
Tom Bombadil, it's something I didn't notice the first time I read it, but like,
no, the first time I read this, I thought, why the fuck are we doing this? And then I remember seeing articles about like, wow, that made no sense. It just took forever. And I'm reading it back, and I'm like, no, these chapters are great. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, no, this is very interesting, actually.
Yeah, I think maybe you guys just are not here for what I'm here for.
I was surprised how much I like Tom Bombadil this time around. And one of the things that's really interesting is he's legit sad. Like, he knew these people. He doesn't love being reminded of the fact that they're all gone. He's sad about the woman who owned this brooch being dead and that her stuff is in this barrow. And he says Goldberry's gonna wear it now and it'll bring some joy back to the area.
Yeah.
But yeah, it pretty much just the whole area that was once this big kingdom and that Aragorn is kind of the heir to.
And he's gonna go back there and he's gonna build a big old city on top of these haunted hills.
I don't know if he builds on top of the Barrow-downs, but he does build a northern city.
Oh, well, how does he effectively rule that?
He goes back
What's
and forth
his
when
tax
he.
policy
Oh, I'll
like?
tell you. When he leaves Faramir in charge of Gondor.
Oh, well, that guy sucks according to the movies.
He is
He's got
in
some
the
big virgin energy, if you know what I mean.
in
His
the
Chad brother should have been in charge.
in the books. Faramir is almost Mary Sue levels of noble.
He
Like,
does very much contrast with Boromir.
yes. Yeah, in the books, Faramir is like so good, it's hard to believe. Like, but at that point in the
He's
book, you're just
John Cena.
well, he's a little better than John Cena. Faramir doesn't kowtow to China.
I'm talking about the wrestler, not the person who plays that wrestler.
I don't know the difference.
Yeah, that's fair. There really isn't, but I'm going to pretend there is.
But
So
so you wind up with the hobbits, the men of Bree, who I think we are to understand are descended from that first people who were there when Numenor came.
wow, they have fallen on some hard times.
They started on some hard times, they had some good times, and then they just went back. Bree's doing fine. Bree, they've got a pub. They got
I mean, they're doing fine for another chapter or two.
hey, everybody's got a house.
Oh my God, it is like a paradise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, no, there are refugees coming in large numbers from the south, and the Bree Landers do not want them there. And they don't say they're going to build a wall, but there is some implication that like we
But this
don't
one
want
guy's
you
got
here.
a lot of bricks and mortar.
Yeah. They're like, we don't want you here, and one of the guys is like, yeah, but like we're gonna stay. Like eventually, there's gonna be a lot more of us than there are of you, and like, you know,
You're gonna have to learn Spanish.
yeah.
Eventually, you're gonna have to push 2 for English, buddy. And when that day comes, I'll be there. I'll be there to lick your tears.
Or should I say your agua?
I don't think that's the word for tears, but okay. We're still working on it. We're preparing. But yeah.
All right.
And then there's the Rangers. The remaining Dunedain have sort of, I don't know, gone into like a reflective period.
I was going to ask this in the next chapter, but I didn't ask it here. Is Ranger not so much of a class and more of a race in this book?
It is a profession, but it is also like the Rangers are the remaining Dunedain. It just happens to work out that the thing the remaining Dunedain all do is range. Like, I think it's the Ranger thing is a little bit derogatory because they're basically saying like,
you're homeless.
Yeah, you're homeless. All you do is walk the woods and live off the land. You're not building anything. You're
What's
not
that on your
anything.
cheek? Is it shit or mud? I can't tell. See, I have a bath. 3 of them, in fact, in one room for some reason.
Well, I'm gonna outlive you, so can't have that bath when you're dead. Enjoy being dead, peasant man.
So the men of Carn Doom are from Angmar.
I believe so. Yes.
And Angmar, everyone seems to know, is a not great place. Now, what happens to Angmar? Because that's not around either. The Witch King is the king of a destroyed kingdom, it sounds like.
So, oh boy. Angmar, I think there were some Numenorians in Angmar. I don't know a ton. There was also a plague.
Oh yeah, Sauron dabbled in biological warfare.
Yeah.
That's a little fucked up.
Yeah, there was also a plague that wiped out a lot of the people who were around the Barrow-downs. I think that's actually around the time that they turn evil. Like the Barrow-downs start to take on the evil spirits and stuff. I think it might be a combination of. I'm trying to remember. It might be a combination of Gondor and the elves.
It looks like the elves of Rivendell and Lothlorien, and I don't know if it's Gondor. Cardolan? No, sorry, he's dead. I meant Arthendane. The hell is that? Oh no, you're right. The Kingdom of Gondor received messages, and then Gondor sent up. Yeah, where was Gondor when the East Fold fell?
This is still technically west of Gondor. This is the northwest fold.
What the fuck is the East Fold that he's so upset
The
about?
west fold.
The West
is what-
Fold.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes. He's talking about like Rohan, the lands, not the city of Rohan, but like the lands of Rohan. Because orcs have been raiding Rohan mercilessly, the kingdom of Rohan, not the city again. But yeah, so it's the combination of the elves and Gondorians. I think they finally wipe out the rest of Angmar. I don't think the Witch King really cares. I
Yeah,
think
because his plan was like
the whole Angmar project was to wipe out the kingdom of
Arnor.
men.
Yeah.
So he goes back to Mordor.
Yeah, now here during the War of the Ring, you only have to worry about Gondor. You don't have to worry about Gondor and its brother Arnor.
The Witch King, I feel like arguably achieved more on his own than he did directly under like Sauron's supervision.
Yeah, because Sauron is a shitty middle manager.
Yeah, he really is kind of that guy who was like, honestly, he wasn't even really that good at what he did under Morgoth. Gets his ass kicked by a giant dog.
Really?
I'm trying to remember. I've gotten confused because I've been reading so much of the history of Middle Earth. I'm trying to remember what happens in the Silmarillion.
It looks like Angmar had men and orcs? ?
I don't know. I have to confess, I don't remember. Angmar is one of those things that does not get a lot of like attention. But yeah, Sauron at some point turns into a giant cat, I think. He shapeshifts a lot. He gets his ass kicked a lot.
It's so you know that the thing that's kicking his ass is a big deal. Like, oh, you're Worf now, Sauron. That's what you are. You're here to establish a new threat.
But he's also not like a tough guy. That's the other problem though. Like I feel like the Balrogs are the tough guys. Like the Balrogs are the Worf.
I'm trying to figure out where the fuck even Angmar is. Based on map. Okay, cool. Okay, and refresh my memory. What the hell is to the north that's just like a wasteland? Is that where the gods may have oopsie destroyed a large portion of the world?
Wait. No, it's to the northeast, isn't it?
I'm talking about like
Yeah,
the
no,
northern wastes.
No, the gods. Yeah, that's where Morgoth's fortress was. That was the part of the world you wanted destroyed.
I see. Okay, yeah, Angmar looks like, northeast. I thought it was on maybe the other side of the mountains, but no, it's on the west side of the mountains.
Yeah, no, so
So
the
is
gods...
this the West Fold?
No.
Okay.
The West Fold is in Rohan.
But Rohan's all the way over there.
Yes, it's west of Gondor.
Where was Rohan when the Northwest Fold fell?
I'm not 100% sure when Rohan was founded. I wasn't prepared to answer the question, where was Rohan when the Northwest Fold fell? But I should have been. No, what the gods accidentally destroyed was the Beleriand, which was initially this continent used to go a lot further west.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Yeah,
north, in which case, yeah.
no, there used to be a lot more of it to the west, and a big chunk of that got
Well,
taken out.
well, we don't really go west anyway. We hit the Shire and then something, 300 miles, and we're at the Grey Havens. So,
Yep.
can't wait till we
It's,
sail west and we find America.
So that's the punishment.
That's the punishment.
God made it so that when men sail west, they can only find America. They aim for the blessed land, but they just wind up here. Oh, and they mistake it for the blessed land. But yeah, that was their adventures through the ruins of Arnor. And I do kind of understand, this is the funny thing, because it's like, I don't know if the Silmarillion, as Tolkien intended it, would have gone deep into this like early third age, late second age stuff.
Oh,
I guess it would go in.
Happened?
Yeah, well, like the fall of Numenor, and then into. So the fall of Numenor happens in the Second Age, and then
what signifies the end of the Second Age? The war.
I believe that's
between
Sauron's defeat, right?
the last alliance. Why is it the last alliance? By the way, why aren't we just allied all the time?
I think because everybody who made that alliance died in that battle.
Well, Elrond is still here, and so is Isildur, and
Elrond is kind of like a weird philosopher who just sometimes fights. But like Elrond very specifically does not call Rivendell a kingdom. He's not interested in that.
Cast it into the fire.
He didn't say that. I think he did say like you should probably get rid of that, and he was like no, and he was like, well, I
did my best. I'm going home.
Is your choice. Yeah.
You should get rid of it. Nah, I want to be evil. All right.
Well, there's anher aspect.
I'll raise your kid to date my kid. How about that?
That's how it was done back then. There is another aspect to it that I don't know. People don't often bring up. Galadriel brings it up because Galadriel's like a lot
insufferable. I don't actually remember much about her, but okay.
She's just very intense all the time. That's how I imagine Galadriel. She's just very intense, and then Celeborn, her husband, is just kind of like there. They're one of those.
You know who the Dom is?
Yeah, they're one of those couples where it's just like all the personality is concentrated in one of them. No, but Galadriel, I think she tells Frodo, you know, she's the one that explains to him that when he destroys the One Ring, the power of the 3 elven rings is going to fail as well. And so if you get a weird vibe when you came in here, it's not that we're not happy to see you, because like on one hand, if you don't destroy the ring, Sauron's going to kill us all. But on the other hand, if you do destroy the ring, we all have to leave because our stuff's going to start falling apart. So you can understand why the elves are like, oh, good, this is happening now. So maybe what I'm saying is Elrond wasn't like, he was like, no, cast it in the fire. Isildur, stop.
Please destroy it. I really need you to, just throw it in fire. And oh, you're not going to? I mean, shit.
The interesting thing that Tolkien even says when somebody asked like why the elves have to leave Middle Earth and why they're so bummed about it, like why wouldn't they want to go to heaven basically? And he's like, well, I'm paraphrasing Tolkien here, but he said something like they get to enjoy the benefits of a blessed land, through the power of their rings, and the benefits of being a superior class.
Wow.
Whereas if they go back
you.
to Valinor,
Fuck you guys, you suck. I hate you.
yeah, if they go back to Valinor, then they get to be the
small fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
yeah.
I need
Tolkien's
to
aware
get
of it.
off. So that's the perfect place to stop.
Yep.
They leave Tom Bombadil's lands, and elves suck.
Next time on Talking About Tolkien.
Hey doll, Mary doll, ring-a-dong dillo. Ring-a-dong, hop along, fall all the willow. Tom Bomb, jolly Tom, Tom Bombadillo.